Hi, I think this is part 14, so part 15 of my novel, The Black Rock Redemption, also known as All Is New Black Rock, science fiction, uh, fantasy, mystery, philosophical thriller, I guess you'd say. And I'll continue. I'll read back a little bit so you can catch up here. Okay. All right, now Rockman took some LSD and he's now talking to his dog, and all this seems to be talking through his dog, he feels. So I'll read back a little bit here. After a pause, Mutt, that's his dog, said, "Because were it not for the Beni Israel, meat would not spoil." Rockman blinked his eyes and shook his head as if slapped in the face and asked, "What? That's what your apostle, may Allah pray on give him blessing, actually said? But why should Jews, being the cause of meat to spoil and not bacteria, mean you use the royal plural when speaking of yourself?" Mutt then said, "We call ourselves we, and our, and us, because the greatest jihad is speaking a truth in the presence of a tyrant. Why else do you think our followers got so pissed off when Saddam was killed? For they could no longer say sugar is sweet in front of him. Sugar is sweet is a truth, but that is besides the point. We call ourselves we, and our, and us, because if any one of you sees something objectionable, one must first try to change it with one's hand. If one cannot change it with his hand, then he must use his tongue. If he cannot change it with his tongue, then he must use his heart, and the latter is the weakest form of faith." Rahman smiled and said, "Man, that is deep." But went on and said, "For if you eat 7 ajwa dates in the morning, you'll be protected all day. You'll be protected all day from both magic and poison." With that, Rahman said, "An evil kafir on the internet named Nalan Yazmar told me that if I was thinking of obeying Quran 9:111, I should first experiment by eating 7 ajwa dates, then take a spoonful of cyanide to prove that Muhammad, may Allah pray on him and give him blessing, was a true prophet, when I wouldn't die. Well, as you know, I wouldn't have done such an experiment because I know I wouldn't have died after eating that certain number of dates in the morning. I know I wouldn't have." Mutt, the dog, went on and said, "We call ourselves we, because we know that the sky is held up by pillars you can't see. We know that both the sun and moon travel in boats similar to that of Noah, and that sometimes they travel together in a chariot. That if the sun falls out of, will cause a solar eclipse. We call ourselves we because we know that if we didn't place stars in the lowest heaven to be used as missiles on Satan and his followers, jinn, Satan would know that my favorite ice cream is Rocky Road." Rahman smiled and said, "Man, O Mutt, truly, I am beginning to think Allah is talking through you." Mutt went on and said, "We call ourselves we because we know that the moon is in the midst of the heavens, even though infidel astronauts did in fact go to the moon." Rahman said with excitement in his voice, "I'm starting to think I know why you call yourself in the royal plural for sure now." Mutt went on and said, "We use the royal plural because the Quran confirms and reminds the Bible, even though all our followers believe the Bible is corrupted, for not believing in all our books, and for their making no distinction, they shall be far astray and dragged off into hellfire, as our clear book, the Quran, says." Suddenly Rahman heard a loud, booming voice that shook the ground around him. He looked into the night sky and saw the moon coming up slowly over the playa, over the Black Rock Desert. It appeared to be looking angry, as it said, "Oh, our slave, don't listen to that vile animal. That vile animal is the shaitan making fun of us." "What?" Rahman said with surprise. Just when he starts making sense to me, you, O Allah, say he's the shaitan? Your dog is a jinn, a lying jinn. When we eventually free you, you need to kill it, for dogs are like pigs, filthy, unclean. Rahman looked shocked and asked, so you are the moon god? Of course we are. Why do you think there is a moon symbol above every mosque on the planet? You have to be a lunatic to not notice it. And our black statue is, and our black stone, not statue, but our black stone is us as well. Why do you think we have you worship us and it 5 times a day? Rahman looked confused and said, But I was told that the black stone is just a direction for us to pray in. Wrong! Thundered the moon in a godly Allah voice. The black stone is us. When judgment day comes, we, the black stone, shall come to life, grow eyes and a tongue to let us know who touched us. In truth, like our messenger, may we pray on him and give him blessing, has said in the sayings. Rahman looked up and asked. Rahman looked up and asked. There is a rumor going about on the internet that the leader of the Karmatians, named Abu Tair, slaughtered over 20,000 of my Sunni brothers of old before he destroyed your house, the Kaaba, stole you, the Blackstone, out of the Kaaba's ruins. They say that this Abu Tair then used you, the Blackstone, as ransom and peed on you before returning you in pieces back to Mecca, using a catapult to fire you back into this city. Is such an unthinkable thing actually true? Please tell me it's a kafir lie, O Akbar one. Please tell me it's a lie, old Akbar one. It's a kafir lie, boomed the moon in a loud voice. It really is? The moon was silent for a few minutes and said, just because we are the best of deceivers doesn't mean we are lying to you, O slave, shouted the moon. It suddenly split into two parts. What the fire? Shouted Rahman in terror. How did it do that? Rahman heard little shrilly voices down in the down at his trapped legs. He looked down and saw 7 ants. Allah split the moon, said one of the ants in a little woman's voice. It certainly wasn't Muhammad, may Allah pray on him and give him blessing, because Allah gave no signs to Muhammad, may Allah pray and give him blessing, since the Talmud of the old treated as since the Talmud of old treated a she-camel of Allah harshly, hamstringing her, and the Talmud not being in awe of such a wondrous sign as a she-camel coming out of the side of a rock. Because of what the Talmud did, there had been no signs, miracles, since the time of the Talmud. Rahman asked the ants, did the Talmud destroying signs and miracles? Then Rahman asked the ants, did the Talmud destroying signs and miracles with the hamstringing of Allah's she-camel out of the side of a rock happen before or after the time of Allah's miraculous prophet Jesus Christ? There was a pause. Well, asked Rahman. A tiny ant voice then said, no comment. No comment. Another ant recited the Quran 5:101 again, saying, O ye who believe, ask not questions about things which, if made plain to you, may cause you trouble. But if ye ask about things when the Quran is being revealed, they will be made plain to you. Some people before you did ask such questions, and on that account lost their faith. I think I'll end it